and penetrating without difficulty the reality of all dharmas is called artha pratisamvid, unhindered knowledge of the thing designated. 2. Dharma pratisamvid. Pratisamvid of designation. The designation is applied to things because the name serves to make known the thing. Furthermore, having entered into the dharma pratisamvid, the bodhisattva always believes the authentic teaching but does not believe in the person who is teaching. He takes refuge in the truth and does not take refuge in error. Taking refuge in the truth, he is free of error. Why? Because he knows that the person, names and speech are without intrinsic nature. Finally, by this pratisamvid, the bodhisattva distinguishes the three kinds of vehicles, but while distinguishing them, he does not contradict the fundamental element. Why? Because the fundamental element has but a single nature, namely, the absence of nature. The bodhisattva who uses his voice to preach the dharma knows that the voice is empty like an echo. The dharma that he preaches to beings leads them to believe and recognize one and the same fundamental element, penetrating the names and voices to be uttered deeply and without difficulty, that is, dharma pratisamvid, unhindered knowledge of the designation. 3. Nirukta pratisamvid. Pratisamvid of expression. Using the voice, the bodhisattva expresses names and things, adorning his discourse in various ways and in harmony with the needs of the circumstances. He makes beings find an understanding of all languages. The language of the devas, the languages of the nagas, yaksas, gandharvas, asuras, garudas, mahoragas and other emanusias, the languages of Sakrat Brahma, Kator Maharajika and other lords of the world, human languages. One language, two languages, or several languages. Concise or prolix language. Language of women or language of men. Languages of the past, the present or the future. He causes everybody to understand all these languages and that there is no disharmony between one's own language and that of others. How is that? The totality of things is not in language. Language is not a true reality. If language were a true reality, it would be impossible to express evil by way of good words. It is solely in order to lead people to nirvana that the bodhisattva speaks in a way that he can be understood but without being attached to speech. Finally, the bodhisattva uses speech so that beings may act in accordance with the authentic teaching and reality. His discourses all aim at the true nature of dharmas. That is called nirukti pratisamvid, unhindered knowledge of expression. 4. Pratibhana pratisamvid. Pratisamvid of elocution. In a single phoneme the bodhisattva can express all the phonemes. In a single word, he can express all words. In a single dharma, he can express all dharmas. Everything that he says is dharma, is true, is real, and also useful, since it is adapted to beings to be converted. To those who like sutras, he preaches sutras. To those who like gayas, he preaches gayas. To those who like vyakaranas, he preaches vyakaranas. To those who like athas, udanas, nadanas, avadanas, idyaktas, jyotikas, vipulyas, adbhuta dharmas or upadesas, he preaches all these texts. He adapts himself to the spiritual faculties of beings in order to preach to them. If they like faith, he preaches them the faculty of faith. If they like exertion, he preaches to them the faculty of exertion. If they like mindfulness, he preaches to them the faculty of mindfulness. If they like concentration, he preaches to them the faculty of concentration. If they like wisdom, he preaches to them the faculty of wisdom. And he does likewise for all the roots of good as he does for these 5 faculties. Moreover, there are 21,000 faculties of passionate people, and it was on this subject that the Buddha preached the 84,000 topics of the Dharma as counteragents. In regard to these faculties, the bodhisattva speaks about the series of counteragents. This is his elocution. There are 21,000 faculties of the hateful person, etc. There are 21,000 faculties of the foolish man, etc. There are 21,000 faculties of the person with mixed passions, and on this subject the Buddha preached the 84,000 topics of the Dharma that counteract them. This is his elocution. This is what is called pratibhana pratisamvid, unhindered knowledge of elocution. Furthermore, using this pratisamvid during the course of a kalpa or half a kalpa, the bodhisattva adorns his preaching of the dharma but does not contradict the nature of the fundamental element. Sometimes this bodhisattva hides and becomes invisible, but preaches the dharma through all his hair pores, and, while adapting himself to the needs of beings to be converted, he does not fail in his original practices. The wisdom of the bodhisattva is immense. No scholar is able to exhaust it or, even less, destroy it. When in possession of this pratisamvid, the bodhisattva transforms himself and takes on rebirths. He spontaneously and completely understands the holy texts, the mantras, the knowledges and the arts possessed by sages having the 5 supranormal powers. For example, the 4 vedas, the 6 vedangas, the atharva, the jyotiska dealing with the sun, the moon and the 5 planets, oniromancy, earthquakes, the language of the yaksas, the language of birds, the language of hands, the language of quadrupeds and of people possessed by demons, divination, abundance or famine, struggle against the sun, the moon and the 5 planets, pharmacology, calculus, spells, scenic plays, music. The bodhisattva knows deeply and penetrates poetry, the arts, the treatises of this kind better than anyone, better than the heretics, but he is not at all boastful and troubles no one. He knows that these ordinary sciences do not serve for nirvana. Because this bodhisattva is endowed with the 4 pratisamvids, his beauty, his power, his brilliance surpass those of the Brahmas. The Brahmas honor him, love him and respect him, but his mind is detached, respected and honored by all these gods. He is without attachment. He produces only the ideas of impermanence, of suffering, of emptiness and of non-self. By means of his supernormal powers, he encourages the gods, leads them to aspire ardently and preaches them the dharma inexhaustibly and impeccably. He destroys their doubts and establishes them in anattara samyaks and bodhi. According to the Mahayana, this is the power of the 4 pratisamvids of the bodhisattva, a power capable of saving beings. This is the meaning of the 4 pratisamvids. End chapter 40.